Hi everyone, I'm Joe Stoebenau from Joe Stowe Guitar, and today is lesson 3 of my beginning guitar lesson series. Today we're going to work on the A major chord and the D major chord. So let's zoom in and we'll get started. Okay, so today we're starting with the A major chord, and it looks like this. And that's what it sounds like. So we're going to start with our first finger on the 3rd string at the 2nd fret. Now you're going to want to push your finger almost all the way over toward the, if you can see, I'll point to it with my pick, almost all the way over toward the metal fret there, and that first metal fret, because you're going to need room for your other 2 fingers that are going to also be played inside the 2nd fret. Okay, so your first finger, which is your index finger, on the 3rd string on the 2nd fret. Now your middle finger, or your 2nd finger, is going to go on the 4th string, also at the 2nd fret. So right above your first finger. You see how I'm kind of squeezing them in there? It's going to have to overlap a little bit. Now your ring finger, or your 3rd finger, is going to go on the 2nd string, also on the 2nd fret. So you're going to have to stick all 3 of them in there. But believe me, with a little bit of practice, they fit, and they fit just fine. So it just takes a little practice to get that. So I'll show you again. Your first finger on the 3rd string at the 2nd fret. Your 2nd finger on the 4th string, also at the 2nd fret. And then you're going to put your 3rd finger right underneath there on the 2nd string at the 2nd fret. See if you can see that in there. Okay. So, and now what you're going to do is you're going to strum from the 5th string down toward the floor. And you should have a nice sound from that. No dead notes. Don't forget to check for dead notes. Oh, I had one there. Had to move my first finger a little bit. If you get a sound something like that, that's a dead note. And you might have to just push your finger down a little more, or if it's your first string, if it sounds like that, you're on your top string, your first string, then maybe it's your hand is scrunched up and it's touching that first string, or possibly your 3rd finger is laying over on top of it, and you just have to get more up on your fingertips. Now remember what we said on the previous video about having that space in your hand. You don't want your hand squished up against the guitar neck. You want to have a little bit of an open space in there, because that enables you to push your hand out, so that way you can get up on your fingertips a little bit easier. That's the A major chord. So like we did before on the other lessons, practice going from one chord to the other. And practice going from one to the other. Mix them up, have some fun with them. So the next chord we're going to work on is the D major chord. And that's another fun one. It's actually not too hard, so you should be able to get this one pretty quick. And it sounds like this and looks like this. Alright, let's zoom in and we'll work on it. So the D major chord. Now we're going to start with our first finger is going to go on the 3rd string at the 2nd fret. Our 2nd finger, which is our middle finger, is going to go on the 1st string, also at the 2nd fret. Okay, see how they fit in there together? And then our 3rd finger is going to go on to the 2nd string at the 3rd fret. Push that down. And now for this chord, we're just going to strum strings 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're going to start with string 4 and strum down toward the floor. see, I'll do it up here so you can see where I'm putting my pick. Now, if you get the 5th string in there, don't worry about it. It's going to sound fine. It's still part of the chord. The one you want to do, the string you want to avoid is the 6th string. This one here, you want to avoid that string because it's not really part of the chord. So you want to start with either the 5th string or the 4th string and strum down toward the floor. If you get a little bit of the 5th string, and if you get that occasionally, don't worry about it. It's going to sound fine. It's just like when we were playing the A chord. It's the same kind of idea. Playing the D chord just sounds a little cleaner if you just start from the D string or the 4th string. So let's go from the D chord down to the A chord. Okay, so now we know several chords. We know the A minor, the A major, the E minor, the E major, and the D major chords. So now we know enough chords so we can start playing some songs. There's one thing I want to show you, a little trick that'll help you to move from one chord to another pretty easily. So when playing the E major chord, the A major chord, and the D major chord, there's a tip that I can give you that will help you to move from one to the other chord fairly quickly, and it'll accelerate your learning of those, how to play those 3 chords. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with the E major chord. Remember that one? That one was your 2nd finger is on the 5th string, your 3rd finger is on the 4th string at the 2nd fret, and your 1st finger is on the 3rd string at the 1st fret. Now your 1st finger is key here. So your 1st finger, your index finger, or your pointing finger, we're going to call that your guide finger. And what's going to happen here is when we go from the E major chord to the A, we're not going to lift that 1st finger up. So what we're going to do is you can lift your 2nd and 3rd fingers up off the guitar, but your 1st finger is going to stay there on that string, and all you're going to do is simply slide it. Don't lift it off the string, just simply slide it up to the 2nd fret. When you get to the 2nd fret, then you can go ahead and put down your other fingers, your 2nd finger at the 2nd fret on the 4th string, and your 3rd finger on the 2nd string, also at the 2nd fret. And it's the same thing when moving back to the E major chord. You can lift your 2nd and 3rd fingers off, but leave your 1st finger on the string and simply slide it down, because this 1st finger never leaves that string. All it does is it moves from the 1st fret to the 2nd fret and back and forth. So when we're going from the A to the E, simply leave that finger on the string, slide it down to the 1st fret, and then put your other fingers on the strings for the E major chord. Okay, so that's your guide finger, because it's kind of giving you a home base, and that way you only have to think about 2 fingers instead of where do all 3 fingers go. Because usually what happens if you take all your whole hand off the guitar between chords, well, you know what it's like. You're doing it right now. You have to think about where do they all go again. But if you have 1 finger, that's kind of your home base or your anchor, then it's much easier, and you can get to the chord much quicker. See, all I'm doing is I'm sliding that 1st finger back and forth on that string from the 1st fret to the 2nd fret. Now when we want to play the D major chord, it's the same deal. So our 1st finger is still our guide finger, and we're going to leave it parked there. So just leave it on where it is on that 3rd string at the 2nd fret, and then all you have to do is worry about these 2 fingers, your 2nd and 3rd fingers, and you know where they go. The 2nd finger goes on the 1st string at the 2nd fret, and your 3rd finger is going to go on the 2nd string at the 3rd fret. So So all we had to worry about was 2 fingers. So because my first finger is already there, I just got to plunk these 2 guys down, and I have my chord. When we're going back to the A chord, A major chord, simply leave your first finger where it is, don't move it, and just put your other 2 fingers down. Back to the D, leave your first finger there, the other 2 fingers already know where to go. Oh, I made a mistake there. Now when we want to go back down to the E major chord, remember, just simply take your first finger, slide it down to the 1st fret, and put your other fingers down and play the chord. Okay? So take a look. I'll play slowly. Slide your finger up. Go to the D chord, leave your first finger there. Back down to the A chord, leave your first finger there. Go into the E major chord, slide it down to the 1st fret. Okay, so that's the E major chord and the A major chord. We talked about the tip of your first finger being your guide finger, kind of giving you a home base, so to speak, when moving between those 3 chords. So if you like these lessons, please hit the like button. Leave a comment down in the comment section below. Let me know what you're working on or what's giving you problems, and we can work on it together. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next video.